The imperial palace stood silent under twin moons as Emperor Drakenshar materialized in the grand hall, his scales still smoking from battle. 3 years. 3 years of crushing the Void Swarm across 18 star systems, and finally, he could return home to his children. His massive form shifted through corridors built for dragonkind, obsidian claws clicking softly against crystalline floors. The war had aged him. Scars crisscrossed his ancient hide, and exhaustion weighed heavy in his bones. But the thought of seeing his young ones again had sustained him through the darkest nights. The royal nursery doors stood ajar, warm light spilling into the hallway. Drakenshar approached silently, a skill unusual for a creature of his size. What he saw through the doorway made him freeze. In the center of the room, curled in an oversized cushioned nest, was the human maid, Elena, if he remembered correctly. She'd been hired just before the war began, one of the few humans permitted in the palace. His 2 children, Prince Zephyrion and Princess Empress, were nestled against her, their small dragon forms barely larger than human children. Their scales rose and fell with peaceful breaths, tiny wisps of smoke curling from their nostrils. Elena's eyes were closed, one arm wrapped protectively around each child. Her face bore the marks of sleepless nights, dark circles, a gauntness that spoke of skipped meals. Yet even in sleep, her hold on the young dragons remained gentle but secure. Drakenshar's first instinct was rage. Where were the royal nursemaids, the dozen attendants who should have been caring for imperial heirs? But as he observed longer, details emerged that cooled his anger into something more complex. Empress clutched Elena's sleeve with one small claw, the same way she'd once held her mother's wing before the illness took her. Zephyrion's head rested against the human's shoulder, his breathing synchronized with hers. Around the room, evidence of Elena's care was everywhere. Hand-drawn pictures on the walls showing dragons and humans together. A collection of worn storybooks in both Common Tongue and Dragon script. Carefully arranged toys, and a small table with 2 plates of half-eaten food, cut into child-sized portions. On the side table lay a journal. Drakenshar's enhanced vision picked out Elena's handwriting. Day 847. Empress finally stopped having nightmares about her father not coming home. Told her the story of how Emperor Draken once defeated an entire fleet to save a single civilian ship. She fell asleep smiling. Zephyrion asked again when Daddy returns. Soon, I promised. Please let it be soon. The Emperor's hearts, all 3 of them, clenched painfully. He noticed then what he'd missed initially. Elena's uniform was threadbare, mended multiple times. Her boots, worn to almost nothing. The other palace staff had clearly ostracized her, perhaps for daring to get too close to the imperial children, for being too human, too beneath their station. Yet she'd stayed. For 3 years, this fragile human had been mother and father both to his children. Drakenshar shifted form, taking his humanoid aspect, something he rarely did. He approached quietly and knelt beside the nest. Empress stirred first, her golden eyes opening slowly. For a heartbeat, she stared. Then recognition blazed. "Papa!" The shriek woke everyone. Zephyrion tumbled forward, and both children transformed mid-leap, becoming humanoid toddlers who crashed into their father's arms. Tears and fire and laughter filled the air as Drakenshar held them close, feeling pieces of his heart he'd locked away for war slowly coming back to life. Elena had scrambled to her feet, bowing deeply. "Your Imperial Majesty, What is your salary?" he interrupted, his voice rough. She blinked. 12 silver crescents monthly, sire. It is now 12,000 gold suns. You will have apartments in the royal wing. Your title is Royal Guardian, second only to myself in matters concerning my children. He met her shocked gaze. You gave them what I could not. Presence, safety, love. That is a debt beyond any treasure. Elena's eyes filled with tears. I didn't do it for payment, Your Majesty. I did it because they needed someone, and her voice cracked, I love them. Drakenshar smiled, an expression that would have terrified his enemies, but here showed only warmth. I know. That's precisely why you're the only one I trust with them. Empress grabbed Elena's hand with one tiny fist and her father's with the other. Now we have Papa and Elena. Zephyrion nodded seriously. We're a complete family now. And the Dragon Emperor, who had conquered galaxies and made nebulas tremble, found himself agreeing with his 4-year-old son. The human Maid had taught him something war never could. That strength wasn't always measured in firepower or conquest, but in the quiet courage of staying when everyone else left, of loving when it cost everything. That was the most human trait of all, and perhaps the most valuable one in the universe.